All right, this is going to be fun, Henrik. This is first day of 2021, and I just remembered a fun thing I saw on Facebook. It was that film Back to the Future. The professor sits there with Marty, and one of the things he says, rule number one: never ever press 2020 in your time machine. Can you relate to that? We are in a new year now.
Yes, I can definitely relate to that. I think this year has been, it has had some ups and downs for sure. It has been a year with a lot of struggling, I guess, for many people, even for us as well. It has been quite difficult year.
But you sort of you have to blame yourself because you shot yourself in the foot by leaving Crunchfish. That was we were not forcing you out.
That was the step number one. Yes, I totally agree. But it was difficult to foresee what was coming for the rest of the year. So
yeah, no, I know. No one knew because when did you leave us? Was that sort of that was early in the year or maybe late in last year or so.
I think my last day was in the mid of January. I think exactly. It was actually the 20th of January.
20th of January. Okay, so so basically 2020 in January. So you've been an alumni for Crunchfish for almost a year. And,
almost a year.
And I think in January people were not really aware that whatever this Corona was. I think my first realization that this might be big it was when they canceled Mobile World Congress. Which was you've been there many times and it's a huge huge show, sort of what is it 1 kilometer wide and sort of 2 kilometers long in a way, and just enormous amount of people and just saying sorry,
cancel it.
It's not happening this year.
Yeah, actually it was the same thing with in my new business now. It's Hannover Messe in Germany. It's an even bigger one, and that was also cancelled.
Yeah,
and that was also something that was a little bit surprising, or not surprising, of course, due to the circumstances. But it's a completely new thing.
Yeah,
and they tried to do it digitally, and they had 2 days in the middle of summer and tried to do it digitally. But you can just imagine taking this huge show and pressing it down to 2 days. I mean, it was mostly speakers, so it was quite fun anyway, and I appreciate the effort if actually trying to do something.
Yeah.
But we are getting used to doing more digital things.
Yeah.
I believe.
Let's. I actually looked. I think you're doing cool stuff, even if I think you did cool stuff at Crunchfish as well. But let's start with the new sort of. D-Lab or D-Laboratory. I think just tell us what are you all about now?
Actually, I think D-Lab is a really exciting company. I guess just like Crunchfish is and has always been. So what we do is we're trying to bring in some, a lot of new innovations into the power sector. Because the power sector today is a very, how should I say, it's a very conservative business. They're doing things like they've always done it, producing energy and giving it out to customers. But today, with all the new renewable energies coming into place, you need to have a more dynamic network, so to speak. You need to start measuring and actually understanding what's going on. So this is a kind of a digitalization in the power sector. It's very similar to what is happening in the industry. So what we do is that we have, since actually 10 years ago, been promoting quite an advanced measurement platform where you can actually measure what's going on, trying to prohibit outages and reduce outage times and things like that. And the funny thing now is that we are facing more artificial intelligence. So that's definitely a touching point with Crunchfish, where we want to look into our huge database with all these information from the grids and trying to find patterns that you're not really aware is there today. So, and everything is about trying to give the grid operators a better base for decision. So, and it's a completely globally, I mean, the grid works more or less the same globally. So whatever we are doing in Sweden or Finland, we can do it in Indonesia or Japan. It doesn't really matter. So it's a very interesting business. It's, you know, it's facing a completely change, if you will.
I like this term, the grid. It's almost like the matrix.
It is like that, but it's actually called the grid.
Yeah, I know. I'm a long-term sort of Tesla, and they're talking about with their sort of batteries that they could install, you can get off the grid. I read about that. So you're basically you are just loading it maybe with solar during the day, and then you can use that sort of during the evenings when you want to use electricity, and you can be completely off the grid, as they say.
That's nice. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's not something for Sweden, but it's certainly, I think, in more sun-rich countries, we have, well, you are in Skåne as well, so we have a Skåne winter. It's going to be cold. If you have sort of radiators for working on electricity, you have to put them on low power.
Oh, no, it's, yeah, it has been quite a few sun hours in Sweden right now. So
yeah, no, I know. I posted, I'm part of a Facebook group, me and another 75 people, 75,000 people. It's the funniest group on Facebook. It's called, let's see in English, and the group for unnecessary facts, or yeah, you should really join. And I actually posted something today, and that was, it was one of our guys in India. He sent me that hill chill is coming over Delhi right now. So they have 18 degrees in the day, and then it drops to 4 degrees. So that basically means a mean temperature of the day of sort of like 10. And I sort of wrote, which we call in Sweden summer.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is that when we've had 5 consecutive days with a mean temperature of 10 degrees, then officially after the spring it declares summer. And likewise, when it falls below 10, then it's autumn. And then when it falls below 0, it's winter. And then above 0, it becomes spring. That's how they do it from a sign, or that's how it's defined, actually. But what's interesting is that I can appreciate that they are freezing in India, because I read somewhere, and that was my point in this, because it should always have a twist. Otherwise, the admin doesn't let it in. And the twist was this, that in Sweden, we actually have probably the warmest climate during winters, because we are indoors, and our buildings are certainly built to protect us from the cold. And we have triple glazed windows, and we have floor heating, and a lot of stuff. Whereas many other, yes, go to UK, they have single glass windows. They freeze like hell during a sort of winter time. And whereas Sweden, we are warm and cozy. How does that affect the grid, would you say?
How does that affect the grid? I don't know, actually.
We're not using much of their. Well, yeah. Well, maybe we are using because we obviously would need to use energy. But I thought it was a fun story that it's summer when the Indians think this is one of the worst it gets in the Indian winter. But then again, I think the twist is that I don't think we freeze as much as the Indians do, because
probably not.
Indoor climate is warm in Sweden.
Yeah.
That's... So I have to ask you, because I know my standing question to you, Henrik, you probably got bored of me, but sort of, is it ketchup? Meaning that, will we see some ketchup effect? First question, do you have anyone in your organization that asks you that probably twice a week?
Actually, I'm the one who starts to ask that question in my organization.
Oh, that's cool. So you inherited that. Oh, I like that.
I have actually. I like the expression, because it's a very how you should say it. It gives a good picture in your mind.
Yeah. First comes nothing, and then all of a sudden, I think we are very close to a ketchup in Crunchfish. We're having fun right now, and it's it might be a big bottle.
Mm. That sounds promising, I think. Yes.
Yeah, I know it's fun. We're having fun at the moment, so it's I don't know. Probably I don't know. I shouldn't say too much as we are public, but maybe when this is released, at least some of these things in the pipe is out in the public. I hope so. Obviously, it's always hard because we can't publish anything before it's sort of we need some trigger of it. Obviously, as a public company, it needs to be in ink. Otherwise, we can't write anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but have you had Ketchup effect at D Labs, or what's the year been? Has it been a tough year? Because this has changed for many industries.
Yeah.
Everything is upside down.
Yeah, actually, I think we have had. I mean, taking the circumstances into consideration, I still believe that we have had quite a good year, actually. I think first of all, of course, it's my first year for many years that I haven't been able to travel. I did one to the UK just in the beginning of the year, but then everyone has been at home. But I think from the beginning we were a little bit afraid that okay, how will that affect the customer relationship and the new business and everything. But at the end of the day, it seems like everyone is in the same position. So everyone is starting to accept this and say, okay, if we want something to happen, because honestly we don't know how long time this will take. So if we want something to happen, we need to accept that we do it like this, sit in front of the computer. And actually, a fun story is that our first customer in Finland, we did everything completely digital, from the first customer meeting to the deployment of our system, which is, I think, it's a proven of what you can actually accomplish, even in these strange times. So, and then of course we have taken the opportunity to do a lot of other things that that we need to do to prepare ourselves for the coming years. So it has been quite a good year, I think.
Yeah, no, we see the same. Obviously, no travels, but you really learn how to use video. And I have, I don't know, at least 2, 3, 4 sometimes meetings with India. But you can just have an hour's meeting, and all of a sudden you have an office meeting, and then the next hour you have another Indian meeting or another meeting with someone in Stockholm. It's so efficient. I don't think anyone will go back to having a meeting face to face in Stockholm. It takes a whole day. It's costly. This is free, and it's I don't think, I think the businessmen now have got it, that why didn't we understand this before? Because it's not like the technology sort of came about because of COVID. It was there, but we didn't use it really.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about culture and how you actually get used to doing things like this. Because of the downside is of course that you are missing some of the dimensions by meeting people. So still, I believe, I mean, you still want to do the travels and do the meeting, but probably you can definitely significantly lower the amount of trips that you actually do. And as you said, I mean, if I have one meeting in Stockholm, maybe I can do it digitally instead of taking the flight or train. So
yeah, no, I think a lot of people would think twice. That's at least what I'm doing. I just got I had a great meeting set up, and I said, no, I won't go to Stockholm. I can meet over video. But then it turned out that he actually lived outside Helsingborg, so we could meet in. We met at Pålsjö Krog in Helsingborg. Okay. It was good because he did it after sort of a long weekend for him. So that worked for me. That was good.
Yeah.
So I think, we are just chatting along as always, Henrik. But what did you do at Crunchfish? Do you remember?
I definitely I definitely remember it. I think Crunchfish has been for me it was a very special 4.5 years, because Crunchfish is in my mind a very different company from what I have been used to before. And I have been in many companies, I mean both larger ones and smaller ones. For some reason, I have decided to stay in kind of the small startup-ish business. So, at Crunchfish, I mean, the fun thing with being in a company like Crunchfish is that you get the opportunity to be part of the whole thing, and you get to be part of all, not only the business, which I was mostly focusing on, but there is a huge connection to technology, to the strategy, to the partner work. I mean, there is so much different things, because you are a team, a very small team, so that you work together to do things, to accomplish things. So for me, it was a really amazing time for those 4.5 years, I must say.
Yeah, no, we you were well liked. That's why we're only inviting great people to this alumni talk anyway. So I think just qualifying, I had to, I wanted to have 3 people. So you were, yeah, just see that as kudos to you in a way that you were top of mind for me. That I have to have
Appreciate
Henrik sort of for our New Year's talk.
Yeah,
It
appreciate
will
that.
be Henrik and Ivanhoe.
Yeah, that's a competition.
Yeah, I know. For the 59th time, Ivanhoe. I don't know why Ivanhoe qualifies for our New Year's. I never figured that out. That's probably just a Swedish thing. But we always watch Ivanhoe, an old movie from the, what is it, 60s, that we have to see every New Year's Day. I don't know why. Do you know?
I don't know, actually. It's I guess you can just sit down in the couch and you remember it. You don't know, you don't need to follow it.
Yeah.
Every minute. You can actually take a small nap, and then you wake up, and then it's you know what's happened, and you know what's going to happen. So it's a quite relaxing thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, you've been with us, but you've been away now for a year, almost a year. Are you following us? Are you tracking us? What's going on? Yeah, you are. I see you nodding. You have to say yes, otherwise
Yeah.
you don't get the camera.
I'm definitely tracking you, and you are actually producing quite a lot of news, so it's difficult to not track you. But it has, I think, it has been a very interesting year for you as well. Since I were mostly part in the gesture, or actually only part in the gesture part, so to speak. I was quite impressed about the video coming out with the whole hand tracking stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm really happy to see that the progress is ongoing, and that you are doing some quite amazing steps forward in that area. And then, of course, what I was thinking about was that when I joined Crunchfish in 2015, I mean, there was this gesture technology, but then you had a bubble, and it was this small new innovation that I know that Paul was all excited about that, and it was quite an interesting thing. And then I have seen this small kind of proximity interaction technology grow into this whole mobile payment stuff, and of course the mobile payment encapsulates more things, but still, it has been quite an amazing journey to see that going from this small technology. Because what was quite fun when I joined Crunchfish is that, yes, there was this gesture, but the whole philosophy behind it, as my interpretation at least, is that today we are living with all this digital equipment, but basically all the digital equipment, they dictate how you should interact with them. And the whole philosophy behind Crunchfish was more that, no, let's take it and turn it upside down and say, okay, if I want to use it in the best possible way, how should I be able to interact with it? And that was more from a, let's say, a holistic philosophy view. And then there was these 2 technology areas, which the gesture on one hand, and then you had this a bubble, which is more this proximity interaction capabilities, that you can interact with your devices depending on where you actually are physically located. So that's what I think is, that was the really fun and interesting part with Crunchfish. That that was the whole idea from a completely, I don't think everyone see it that way. That it's more
yeah. Thanks for reminding me, and you're right. I think we did look at it that way. That why should humans sort of comply to what the electronics want us to do? Why don't we get the electronics to sort of comply with us?
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of what I heard a funny. This was Will Ferrell, when he did it Saturday Night Live, he did George W. Bush. He said, "We don't collaborate with nature. Nature has to collaborate with us." It was when he talked about global warming.
Okay.
And it's sort of a little bit like that. Why should we collaborate with electronics? I think electronics has to collaborate with us. But that area, as you said, what we used to call a bubble. Now it's, well, maybe we will be able to get it out before New Year's here, but we have expanded now into 5 solution areas. There is gestures, which was our original one, but what you talked about in proximity, it's now 4 solution areas. We have what we have really worked on actually since you left, because you said you left on the 20th. On the 29th of January, we filed a patent for digital cash. That was filed on 29th of Jan 2020, sort of less than a year ago. And that has turned everything upside down. And we do sort of the same thing as you said, because digital payments today, it's an online kind of thing. If you're using sort of real-time payments like Swish, you are online in order to sign off the payment. Or if you're using a card, typically the merchant's device, you can be offline with your plastic card, but the merchant device is online in order to check that you have a sufficient balance. So either has to be online. But we said, why should we make ourselves dependent on all these, what can happen online? You can have a failing connection, but it can also be that the electronic identification, like Bank ID here in Sweden, is down, or Swish is down, or a bank server is down, or there's so much. It's quite a sensitive system, and one of those services which are essential, if they are down, the service doesn't work. And so we sort of said, so let's just make ourselves independent, because that's what cash is all about. Cash is, that's the best means of payment. Always works. It's easy to use. You can be private as well. And I think we replicate all these properties with our, we think cash is king, but it really should be in a digital form. And that's what we are providing. And that's, no one else is doing that really in that way we are thinking about it. Then a little bit, as you said, that we are, we don't comply with digital payment. Digital payment has to comply with us. No, we turned it upside down. The other areas we have is, we still have Bubble. I'm actually, because we had to spell it funnily, Bubble, so I'm calling it sort of Nearby, which is same as Google is actually using, that we connect with anyone and anything in proximity. We're calling that solution area Nearby. And that's the area we're working the least with. One of the guys that I actually interviewed, let's see, that's on a week before this interview. I had an interview with Dhruv in India, a young guy in India that is our top model as well. We're using him for our shoots.
Okay,
we have a picture. But Dhruv, he's quite keen actually to try to run with a Bubble, because in India it's a great opportunity, because they're more than us in Sweden, and you get great scale if you get it going in India. Then you get scale. So he might run with the Bubble area. I know he's keen. But then we have Blipit, which was what we focused on 2019 when you were still there, which was this bridge between a mobile phone and a PC. That's a separate solution area where we solved sort of how do you make it smooth to pay. With digital cash, we're making, how do we enable you to pay always in a robust way? That's another problem to solve. The other one was more of a sort of smooth payments, I would say, but that was Blipit. And then we have food waste, which is another cool area. This is a patent I came up with. It was an innovation, understanding when we worked with Clearon on the Blipit side. You know how they are working with coupons with the Clear Online, that in each cash register is a Clear Online in order to clear them, the coupons. And what's coming actually is every single product won't have a barcode anymore. In the future, they will have QR codes, and then you can decode much more than just the article number. You can decode sort of the before dates and batch numbers. And that could turn out into rules that if you are only 1 day away from the best sort of expiry date, you may get a 50% discount, and that could be automated. So we are engaging the entire consumer base for not always reaching, far back in the shelf to take the latest milk carton, but which we all do. I think I do it. Everybody does that, but we have to change that behavior in order to not throw away so damn much food. And we can do it with an incentive, and we have a patent on that, and that's a great sort of solution area as well. So all these four, digital cash, Blip It, food waste, as well as nearby, they're all under proximity. That sort of started, as you said, as just from nothing.
Started with something fun.
And the first application wasn't that we used it was a combination of gesture and proximity, because we allowed you to take a photograph. Well, if you took a photo, we can, and we did that with GoCam, and then you can transfer that, say, to a printer by just. I think it was proximity with the sort of gestures to take a photo. I think we did some. So I know we had that at Mobile World Congress, which was kind of cool.
I think that was exactly at the Mobile World Congress, just before I joined. So
okay. Yeah, we came home with that one, and we got a lot of attention. I know Joachim called me because I left early, and he said, now they're rolling out the red carpet here, or sort of the carpet, and we still have 10 people in our booth who want to see what we do. And then and we believed hard in that area, but I think it was hard. We needed the Indian market to get it to scale. I think that's I guess what was missing. But now with Droove, maybe we'll get it because the use cases are still cool, and I don't know if you're aware, but we have 13 innovations which we have applied patents for, and 12 are already granted. So this is a huge IP portfolio. So this is it's interesting. No, that's good. We're gonna have a Christmas party, so you'll miss that. It's gonna be online, COVID style. Normally, you've been part of our we've been baking, and we have had doing Christmas candy and whatnot. Always something creative. But this year we will be like everybody else, sitting in front of a computer and having a laugh.
So I guess you're at the office, right?
Right now, but I'm thinking of actually going home, because the party starts at 3 and it runs for 2 hours. So then I will be home in a reasonable time instead of standing here having the whole meeting.
Yeah.
But I'm at the office now. Yeah, I am. This is the best place because a lot of people work from home. So in terms of COVID, we have 1,100 square meters, and we have
a huge office. Yes.
Yeah, huge office. No, this has been great, Henrik. I think, thanks for all the time you had and I'm really glad to hear that it was a special time in your life. And I know one thing, because you did some sort of great, was it a cake or was something, and you promised to put that on LinkedIn or something, that recipe, and it hasn't yet come. And I don't know how much do I have to throw at you before you give us the recipe.
No, it's a secret. I appreciate it. It tasted good. Yes. But
do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was a blueberry cheesecake.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that recipe. If it's not a trade secret of Mr. Wienberg.
No, it's not my own. I will send it. Not on LinkedIn though. But
no, that's good. Private. Yeah, that's good. No, I appreciate this a lot, Henrik. It's been fun, and now it's 2021. Any New Year's resolutions? Have more fun 2021. 2020.
Yeah, no, I haven't really. No New Year's resolution actually. But as you said, I think your suggestion is good. Trying to have more fun every day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, let's all have that. I think. Let's go back to where we all started. Rule number 1 in Back to the Future: never press 2020. I still think it's funny.
It is.
So I think 2021 will be. It will be a. I think we will come out of this, and we've learned a lot. Certainly we can do video calls. We didn't know how to do that a year ago. We know now. So I think we learned some tricks, and and it's just to carry on. But as you know, we said that when you left us, sort of. Once a fish, always a fish. You're welcome anytime, and you know, please come and see us sometime. We really we like that.
Yeah, I would like that too. Unfortunately, this year has or 2020 has been like it is, but yeah, I really appreciate it, and yeah, likewise. I will for sure come down to your office. It's slightly different to sit at Ideon compared to Västra Hamnen. It's
yeah.
Slightly different kind of office environment, but
yeah. No, that's good. You come over when you feel homesick. You more than welcome. We put on in new lightings now as well. From that's from Ideon originally, from Brainlit. You know, in
I saw it. Yes, I saw it.
It's really cool. You get all you get very, you know, it's so great light, so you are you almost get high.
All right, maybe we should take that as well. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's great for the grid. Using all the power of Malmö. No, that's good. Henrik, thanks so much. It's been fantastic, and let's keep in touch. It's been good.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.